How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
Well, everybody, guess what night of the week it is? Garrett, what night is it?
Our favorite night.
I think it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, and this is episode number
38, not 37.
35.
Yeah, that's what
episode
I was
number
saying.
35 of How About That Cigar Live, brought to you from the Drew Estate Cigar Studios, and we want to thank you so much for watching. If you are watching live right now on Facebook, please do us a favor, share us out to your favorite Facebook cigar groups. If you are listening on the audio podcast after the fact, we want to thank you so much for listening wherever it is that you listen to your favorite podcast, whether it's working out, driving in the car, whatever it is. Thanks so much for listening. Please take a minute and rate the podcast. If you like what we're doing, give us a nice 5-star. This episode is brought to you by the Pappy Van Winkle Family Reserve Barrel Fermented. It is a long filler premium cigar rolled in limited quantities at La Gran Fabrica Drew Estate in Esteli, Nicaragua. Deep barrel fermentation is the key process that makes this expression vastly different from anything on the market. Hand-selected leaves from Kentucky are packed into small torquettes, which are then loaded strategically into oak bourbon barrels. Water is then added while immense pressure is applied to the torquettes via railroad jacks. This tobacco is removed 2 to 3 times per year, shaken out, then repacked. The total process of fermentation takes 12 to 18 months, leaving a truly unique flavor profile and aroma. The Pappy Van Winkle's Family Reserve Barrel Fermented is now available at brick-and-mortar Drew Diplomat retailers. So thanks so much to Drew Estate again. So Garrett, this week, another big week for our NFC North. Your Vikings had a killer comeback. I mean, honestly, the middle of the third quarter, I'm just paying attention on my phone, here and there. And I see the Vikings are down, but at that point they were still down, 20 points?
Yeah, it was either, at one point, so 20 points. And as soon as the statistic came across the screen, no team in the last, I don't know how many years has come back from a 20-point deficit at halftime. Yeah. And
I stuck a fork in them. I did too. I was convinced they were done, but
I did too. I was already looking at draft picks at that point.
Wow, you got dark.
I did.
But no, they really played outstandingly well.
The second half, the first half, it was both sides of the ball that could not get it together. It wasn't them. It kind of reminded me of the Packers
against the Chargers.
Against the Chargers.
Yeah, that was pitiful. It was pitiful. But the Packers still ended up losing that game.
I know, but it easily could have gone that way.
Yeah, 100%. The Packers had a great game this week. We had a bye.
They did.
So we didn't lose. The Packers have been having a good season, and hopefully they got the rest they needed so they can kind of regroup a little bit and give everybody back to 100%. And as I was having dinner with the family earlier, we stopped at another spot and got some ice cream on the way home. The Wild game was on, and they were rolling all over the Sabres. Last I saw, it was 3-0. So I really can't say, but it was they seem to be improving a lot over the last 3 weeks. Because it was a garbage fire for the beginning of the season, but the Wild seemed to be improving a lot.
Yep.
So guys, we want to again thank you for joining us on episode 35. We are going to get into our main segment with our special guest right now, and that segment is brought to you by Corona Cigar Company, and coronacigar.com is the internet's largest and easiest to use virtual cigar store. Corona Cigar Company offers you the finest handmade cigars, humidors, and cigar accessories at the absolute lowest possible price. And you will also find unique and very limited cigars containing Florida sun-grown tobacco. As a proud American, president and founder of Corona Cigar Company, Jeff Borshowitz believed it was possible to bring cigar tobacco farming back to Florida. As a cigar retailer, Jeff believed consumers would be willing to pay a little more for a cigar that contained genuine Florida-grown cigar tobacco, as long as the tobacco was unique, distinctive, flavorful, and of the highest quality. At Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com, you'll find the best selection anywhere in the world of cigars containing this special Florida sun-grown tobacco. If you live in Florida or are just visiting, be sure to visit any of the great Corona Cigar locations in downtown Orlando, Sand Lake, Lake Mary, and also the Davidoff of Geneva Lounge in Tampa. For more on all of that, please visit coronacigar.com and Florida sungrown.com. And ladies and gentlemen, this week we have a very special guest on the show, and we would like to introduce him right now from Dissident Cigars. Please welcome Mr. Ben Holt. Ben, how's it going?
Doing all right. How you guys doing?
Fabulous. Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show with us. We really appreciate, we know weeks and days and things like that can get really busy. So we appreciate you giving us some time to help all our viewers and listeners learn a little bit more about what you're doing.
Oh, well, gladly. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it greatly.
Absolutely. So you started out, a while ago in the cigar business. And one of the things that we like to talk to everybody about, just because we're kind of a newer show and we really like to give consumers, some educational information. And part of that education is learning about the people who really make these products into what they are. So give us a little bit of your origin story with cigars, just from the point of when you first started enjoying a cigar. When was that for you?
That was when I was in the Marine Corps, actually. Okay. I was deployed to Iraq, and a couple of the guys, we would sit around and smoke cigars on our downtime to kind of decompress and relax and, forget about the BS of the day. And then from there, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I moved to Texas and went to college. And on my way to class, I would stop and pick up cigars at my local shop. And saw that they needed help wanted sign there one day, and I went in and started working there part-time. That turned into a full-time gig after I graduated, and then I started repping. And it just kind of snowballed from there. It was not a part of the plan that I had set for me before when I went to college. But you know how life goes. You find something you enjoy and you stick with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a kind of a perfect segue to talk about today is the 15th anniversary of Pat Tillman's death. For those who don't know, Pat Tillman was an NFL player for the Arizona Cardinals, and decided to, really make that ultimate sacrifice for his country, and went into the military, and
he walked away from a very lucrative career in the NFL.
He was a rock star on the field. Yeah. It wasn't like some guy who was struggling at all. He was a dominant player, and unfortunately lost his life 15 years ago today. And so tonight I would like to smoke. All of us are smoking to the memory of all those that lost their lives in service to this country. Yeah. And Ben, we certainly appreciate your service as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
And to let everybody know, unfortunately we didn't get any Dissident Cigars,
and that's my fault. That's not Ben's fault.
Nope. But we are smoking some cigars that are in Ben's family. I've got one, the Santa Muerta from Black Label Trading.
And I've got I just fired up the Havana Soul.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah.
So it's my last one. And I thought it would be a fitting night tonight to enjoy this one. So that's actually one of the things. So you said, you began enjoying cigars while you were deployed, and then little by little just got more involved in the industry. Like you said, you didn't go into college saying I'm going to work in the cigar industry someday. You just it sort of happened organically, for lack of a better term. So tell us about sort of the process of how you first got in. Was it at a brick and mortar store? Was it repping for a brand? How did you first start actually getting paid in the cigar business?
It was working at a brick and mortar store. It was called TJ Cigar Lounge down in McGregor. It's one of the biggest cigar lounges in Texas, actually. And there I worked with David and Joan Livingston, who owned the place and been doing it for a very long time. Learned a lot from David, and then Derek Matthews, who is the national sales manager for Black Label, Blackworks and Emilio, worked there as well too, part-time. He works full-time for the VA, and he would work there part-time at night because he was a cigar nerd. And I really just got to pick his brain quite a bit. I called him my cigar cicerone. He kind of guided me in this a little bit and just kind of fed the beast, So I really got to with him, teaching me, I got to learn a lot about tobacco, a lot about the different brands that are out there. Made those connections through him, with him as well. And then that's when I got to know James and Angela and Stephanie with Black Label. And under James's mentorship, I really learned gobs more about tobacco. And, I'm one of those guys that when I really like something, I want to know as much as I can about it. And he just really allowed me to do that. I went down to Nicaragua numerous times. My first time down there, it was just for fun. I didn't go down there for any kind of work stuff. I just wanted to go see the factory, see what tobacco is about, see the process, learn as much as I can. And James totally helped me out with that. And it just, from there, just kept growing and growing and growing. And here I am today. I bought the brand, which was kind of, I always say the stars aligned when that happened. I had the right partnerships, the right connections, the right support. And when I saw the opportunity, I took it and I'm rolling with it.
Now that actually segues into a question I had written down when you bought the brand Dissident Cigars, was that a brand that you actually actively sought out, or did an opportunity just come along and you said, I think I could do this with the right support, with the right help? So you took the steps necessary to get that done, or like I said, is it something that you actually were pursuing because you either already dug the brand, or you knew it was the brand that you could, that was basically dormant or dead, and you said, I can resurrect this and turn it into something?
Yeah, it was. I knew that Dissident was a dormant brand, and so at first I talked to James and Angela and Scott Zuka and asked them if what they thought about the idea of me pursuing this venture, and they all gave the support, and they said, yeah, this totally could be done. So I contacted the owners and rolled with it.
Awesome. And question, Danny on Facebook is asking, is that TJ? Is that in McGregor?
Yes, McGregor, Texas. It's right outside of Waco, about 15 minutes outside of Waco, Texas. And then, I worked there starting off in college, and then the day came when I went full-time, became a full-time rep, and here we are.
And so that shop outside of Waco is the biggest cigar, would you say, humidor in Texas?
It was the biggest lounge in Texas for a while.
Okay.
But then Stogie's kind of expanded, and then Redlands down in San Antonio, they're pretty big. They have a pretty big space as well. So I think technically now it's the third largest in Texas, but it's the largest one in Central Texas.
Okay, awesome.
So tell us about, when you kind of became part of the, the Black Label Trading, the Oveja Negra family. Tell us about what that process has been like for you, as far as being mentored by and being guided by James and Angela and those guys over there. What has that process been like for you? And what kind of where did it start, as far as repping, obviously, but then when you started getting into the blending process and the branding process and things like that, what was that mentorship process of you gleaning things from them?
It's been interesting. It's been great. When I went down there and started to do the blending process with James, before I went down there, I already had in mind kind of some the tobaccos I wanted to play with and some of the things I wanted to concentrate on. So I went down there, told him what I wanted to do, and for the most part, it could be done. It's just now we got to put it down into a cigar and see what the end result's going to be. So going through that, I mean, me and him, there were some cigars like, some of the blends that we came up with, like, we got to tweak this up a little bit. This ain't right. And he would give me some good insight into maybe what some other tobaccos to, some other ones to kind of blend with and play with. And it's been, and then with him with the artwork as well too. Branding it, I already had kind of an idea, but me and him kind of sat down and brainstormed a little bit on how it's different when you have it up here and then putting it down to pen. That's a whole different beast. And luckily, James is artistic enough, and me and him are pretty in tune with each other that we were able to kind of bring our heads together relatively easy on that. And it just kind of started flowing pretty naturally once we started getting into that groove.
Okay.
Angela's been phenomenal on the, with how the production and everything works at the factory. Learning a lot from her on that, because a lot of people probably don't understand, but I call her La Jefa. She's the boss. She runs that factory, and she has a whole bunch of knowledge that one can gain by talking to her about that stuff. But they've all been very open with me about it. They've been sharing a lot of information. They're constantly they're supporting me and providing me with any of that information that I need. But it's been a really interesting development in our relationship, coming from as a rep with them, and then now in a sense, this partnership that we got. It's been really awesome.
Yeah. And so obviously before, Dissident, the brand, it was, even in its previous iteration, it was a very small brand, wasn't around very long, had just three lines or so. Now when it went dormant and then you bought the brand and you knew you were going to resurrect it, was there ever a thought in your mind to stay the course as far as the look and feel and blends of before, or did you say right away, I'm going to change this up completely and make it a brand new thing?
I was going to change it up completely from the go.
Okay.
I thought it was important for me to put my own touch on it. I thought the guys laid a good foundation with the brand. I just thought it needed to be updated and brought into a little bit more mainstream, in a sense. Something, I wanted to use different tobaccos, especially that James has at Ovea Negra. I think he has some very unique tobaccos that, I wanted to highlight. And I think it's just better quality tobacco all around as well, too. So, and I wanted to use my own, use the knowledge and the experiences that I had and kind of impart that into Dissident a little bit as well.
We've got a real active crew here, and that's awesome. Guys, keep the questions coming. We may not get to all of them, but I do have to ask. Tell me about the pink limo.
The pink limo?
Yeah,
there's questions up on screen here. So do you still have the pink limo?
No, the one that they had, the limo that they had, no. I don't know what they did with that. Okay. That wasn't in the deal when I bought.
All right, and then moving on, Corey asks, what is the perfect beer, in your opinion, to pair with a block, and why? That's
a good question. I would definitely probably go with something like an amber or maybe a stout or something more so with it. Right now I'm drinking, and it's going actually very well with it, the Clown Shoes, the Exercising of Baxter, which is an American Imperial Stout. That's going very, very well with it. It's aged in rum and port barrels. So
awesome. Do you get into pairing a lot with your stuff?
I try to, yeah. Usually with beer and sometimes whiskeys, I'll try to play around and see what goes pretty well together with them. But lately I've been really on a big beer kick. I guess because of the weather too. It's getting colder. So
yeah, well, especially stouts and that kind of thing. It gets cold, and Clown Shoes makes great stuff. And unfortunately I can't. I had to go gluten free, so I can't drink their stuff anymore. But they make some the Undead Party Crasher. I'm sure you've had it. It's phenomenal.
That's one of my favorites.
I absolutely love that.
And what are you smoking tonight?
I'm smoking the Block.
Awesome.
So tell us about when you first went in and started working with James on blends. Which was the first? Was it the Block, the Soapbox, or the Home that you first started tweaking and working on different tobaccos with?
The first one we started working on was Soapbox.
Okay.
And we started playing with that blend. And what really came of it was we had in mind that we were working on the Soapbox, but that turned into the Block. And then
I love it.
It's just that it's when you smoke this, like, this doesn't speaks soapbox to me. This blend really speaks box to me. So the soapbox that we attended, what came out to be the block, and then we worked on the actual soapbox, which took a little bit longer to work on, just because of the tobaccos that we're using in it, finding the right balance, with it. Block came pretty quickly. Home wasn't a cakewalk, but we got that done relatively quickly. Everything was done with the blends and with the branding and everything in about 2 weeks process.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
When we actually started putting things into practice, I had all these ideas. So when I went down there, we maximized the time that I had when I was down there. And we made it all really happen within 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So walk us through each blend and give everybody an idea of wrapper, binder, filler, and kind of what they can expect from not necessarily flavor profile, but strength profile, body profile, starting with the block.
Okay, yeah. So the block, it's a full-bodied cigar, Ecuadorian Maduro. The binder is Ecuadorian. The filler is Nicaraguan with some Dominican piloto in it. So you're going to get this kind of salty finish from that piloto. It's an awesome tobacco, and especially in this blend, I think it does some really unique. You pick up some unique flavors off of it. But it's definitely for the fuller body guys, medium. Definitely that medium plus the full range. You're going to get a lot of that chocolatey cocoa, goodiness off of it. But with that salty finish to it.
Yeah.
And then with soapbox, it's a Brazilian Matafina wrapper, Ecuadorian binder. The filler is Nicaraguan, so I have Ometempe, Condega, and Jalapa in it. That one seems to be, I've been finding to be kind of the all-around day smoke. A lot of people really like that cigar. It's definitely medium-bodied. A lot of different flavors are going to come off of it. You're going to get some spice coming up on the front of it, and then as you go through, you're going to pick up a little bit more of that creamy caramel flavors into it. And then Home, which is a limited edition, that has an Ecuadorian Maduro wrapper with a Corojo spiral. The binder is Ecuadorian as well, but the filler is 100% from SLE. So that's SLE Ligero, SLE Viso, and then a special tobacco from a special processor down there that is also grown in SLE as well. So.
Okay. And the Home, one of the things that's interesting about it, as like you said, a spiral or a barber pole cigar, it's not really pronounced. The color difference between the two wrappers, it's subtle, but it's definitely noticeable. What did you always intend that to be that style of cigar, or did it just come about as a happy process of blending?
It was a happy process of blending, really. Okay. Because when you look at tobacco, even though it might be a certain strand, each yield is going to be different, right? So the colors in that tobacco are going to fluctuate a little bit, from each yield that you get. But it just so happened with this one that it turned out that way, and I think I like it that way. I like certain barber poles and stuff like that, but I think everyone's distinct different, right? They either want Candela with a Connecticut or something very contrasting in there, but I like those subtle the subtle differences in it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
If you pay attention very closely,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another great question from Quentin is, now, did you just buy the name or, and get all the blends, or did you have to reverse engineer anything? Can you walk us through what that kind of the process of that piece looked like?
So when I bought it, I bought the names. I bought Dissident. I bought all the names, all the SKUs from them. But when it came to the blends, I didn't do any reverse engineering. I just started from scratch. I just, I wanted to use totally different blends. All mainly from Nicaragua, like the other ones were as well too, and just kind of use some different tobaccos that we got our hands on down at the factory.
Awesome.
So actually I want to shift a little bit, because We've been coming up with some interesting kind of a little bit off the wall questions lately, but they actually tend to be a little bit. I mean, we could talk about cigars all day. We love talking about cigars, but sometimes you want to break out a little bit and have a little fun with some of these questions. So, all right. So, choose one of the following. You could either hit a home run as a starting pitcher, or score a touchdown as a defensive lineman, or score a goal as a goalie. Hockey.
Why is goal as a goalie?
Yeah.
Hockey. Yeah.
Because that's like the rarest of the rare, right?
Yeah. Like you never see that happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's in.
I don't know the last time it happened.
I think it's maybe been. It's barely been a handful of times in history, I think.
I know.
Yeah.
Lost
in the NHL at least. So that would be killer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That'd be so fun to watch.
So if you were about to get in a fight, what soundtrack music would come on?
Oh man. Just to make it interesting, it would probably be the soundtrack for Little Mermaid.
What do you call those? Feet?
That's so funny because just earlier tonight, my daughter started singing a Little Mermaid song at the dinner table, and we're out at Chick-fil-A, and my daughter started singing Little Mermaid. So okay, so we'll keep that in mind if somebody starts throwing down with Ben, all of a sudden you're gonna hear, "Look at this stuff, isn't it neat?" You're gonna hear that start playing in the background. That's
we got your back.
That's fantastic.
If we're there with you.
Under the sea.
Now I had fun digging too, and discovered you have a little bit of a sickness, and
a little bit of a sickness, but I think it's a good sickness.
I think so too. It's fun. So what I have here is I have some photos, and I want to see how good your shoe game is.
Oh shoot! All right.
And what we're gonna do is I've got 10 shoes, and you tell me which shoe this is. Okay.
All right, you ready?
Are they Jordans though?
Yeah, they're all Jordans.
They might be.
All right.
Oh
man, I don't even know what those ones are. Those are like I have no idea. I'm all on the 1s and 4s, so I have to pass.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, those are the cements, man. Those are the 3s.
Yeah.
Those are the 1s.
Yep.
Chicago's. Those are 4s.
Wow.
Gosh.
Got to throw a pair of Chuck Taylors in there to throw them off.
Right.
Those are 6s.
Oh my gosh,
dude.
I have no idea what those ones are.
Yeah, those are 12s.
12s, yeah. I don't even know what those ones are either.
That's 14.
14s. Oh crap! Those are 7s.
Yeah.
Wow.
And just a couple more, and then we'll have you rate them.
Those are crap, man. Those are the 5s.
Yeah.
And then
last one.
Oh, I can't remember those. I have no idea.
Those are 13.
That's 13.
All right.
Well, you still impressed the hell out of me. That's
Wow.
for sure.
I'm more into the 1s, couple 3s. I like the 4s. Some 6s are right, but I can pretty good at naming what their actual names are, like the Red Toe or Cactus Jacks. All those.
That's insane,
dude. I'm impressed.
So what's the status of your collection right now? What are you what are you going after? What do you have?
I have about 33 so far. I got there's not really Nike really hasn't been dropping any ones that I've been really looking forward to yet this year. They got the winterized 4s that are coming out that I think I'm going to try to get, and that's coming out in December. And then in the new year, they have a lot of ones. They have the retro Chicago's that are going to be coming out. That I've already pre-bought. Got on the pre-sale with those. So
what kind of numbers are we looking at for pairs?
Around $200 to about $600.
Which equates to how many pairs?
There's about 33.
And have you ever gone like crazy and splurged on a pair that you were like, I don't care how much they are, I have to have them?
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of mad about it actually too. It was at the trade show. We went to Urban Necessities, me and James did, which is just, they have a whole bunch of shoes in there, right? Awesome selection of Jordans. And I was like, I'm just going to spend about $600. And there was about 3 pair that I wanted. And then James is like, yeah, but man, you got the LA to Chicago's over here. They're just going to keep going up in price. I'm like, yeah, but they're $500. He's like, but this might be the only chance you can get them at 500. They might just go up and up and up. And I'm like, you're right. I'm just going to buy those then. So I bought those, but now you can get them for about $250, $300.
Oh,
yeah, I get it. I'd be mad too.
Well, but I love those shoes though. They're awesome.
If you love them, that's what matters. And who knows, 10 years from now, you never know what they're going to be worth.
Maybe.
A lot of people are loving the mustache game. You got going on.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I had to change it up a little bit because every time when I had the beard, everybody was mistaking me for James constantly.
I know. So this is kind of a fun one. If you could choose to hear the thoughts of one living person for 10 minutes, who would that person be and why?
Who would that be and why? George Clooney. And the reason why is because he's like such a handsome guy and everybody thinks, actually, no, take that back. Tom Hanks. I want to know what Tom Hanks is thinking because he's such a nice guy. He's like Hollywood's sweetheart, right? I want to really see if he's really thinking like really nice things all the time. I think he probably has some like really mean things going on up there. Saying about people.
Her up in my basement.
But it would be, it would be like, he plays Mr. Rogers in the movies and he always plays the nice guy, but then you get in his head and he's like, he's like Ed Gein or some shit like that.
I gotta buy that goat to sacrifice later.
Oh yeah, it's almost better to keep the illusion alive just in case.
Yeah,
because there's some things you can't unthink, unhear. So is there anything? Are there any projects cigar wise? You've got the block, you've got the soapbox, and you've got the home right now. Do you have projects that you're still working on for the future?
Yeah, I was down in Nicaragua this past August, and I was working on 2 new blends with James. One I'm really happy with. The other one I think we might need to do a little bit more, tweak it up a little bit. It's good, but it's just there's something missing to it, and I want to kind of figure out what that ingredient is. But yeah, I still have some things in the works that I want to bring to light. So,
and what has what has the reception been like? Honestly, I think one of the things that I like about what you have done is you're really, really active on social media, which I think is critical and crucial. I think a lot of companies miss that. Even big established brands, they totally miss the social media piece, which is such a big key. What has the reception been like? Just because this was basically 6 months ago, if I'm not mistaken. So what has the reception been like in your first 6 months?
It's been really, really good. people haven't heard a bad thing about the cigars yet. Everybody enjoys them. You know, some people might gravitate towards other ones in the portfolio over others, but they enjoy all of them. I've been hitting the road around this area with our new rep, and then I was up in the Northeast and hitting a lot of shops, and a lot of people really like the way that I took the brand. You know, and yeah, I've been active on social media, but I think that's key. It's free marketing for one, and two, you really get even though you can't see them personally every day, you can still reach out to your fans and the customers out there a little bit more easily than you could before. But I also think, that one thing I want to do with Dissident is kind of engage the next generation of cigar smokers. This is the means to do it. I don't think a lot of brands are really thinking about that. I don't think a lot of people in this industry are really thinking about the next generation of cigar smokers, but I think we need to start gearing this industry for them. I think if that's the only way to make this thing continue to go is if we get new consumers into it and more people enjoying cigars and understanding what cigars are and, the whole thing behind it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. In consumer education and especially, like you said, the newer cigar consumers, because you get, you get guys and gals who are, coming into their early 20s and starting to little by little dip their toe in the water, start learning a little bit about this cigar culture. And we don't want them to get, we don't want them to get left behind or feel alienated because the culture that they're starting to show an interest in doesn't have any. If they feel like they don't have a place in that culture, or if they don't have a sort of something that they can grab onto, then they're going to most likely, go somewhere else for the camaraderie and, all the great stuff that comes along with. I mean, the cigars are fantastic. We all love premium cigars, but there's something more that comes along with the culture and the attitude and the community behind cigars. And if we don't make them feel welcome, they're going to go, get that community and that piece somewhere else. And and plus at the same time, you get to have the community, you get to have the relationships and enjoy these phenomenal. I mean, the cigars today are just phenomenal, and
the variety
and getting guys like yourself out there with new brands, engaging consumers, like you said, I think is critical. And I applaud you. You've been doing a great job with it, with with everything, Oveja Negra prior to you buying Dissident, and that now Dissident has, it seriously came out of the starting blocks with great speed, and I think it's been a tremendous success, and we can't wait to see more. Really.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, we got more in the works. It's I got to give huge thanks to James, Angela, Stephanie, and Scott for it, because it was the first rep job I ever had. It was the only rep job I ever had working with them, and I think we really understood each other, and I got to learn a lot from them. We got to learn a lot from each other, and this wouldn't have been possible without them, and their confidence that they had in me. I'm really deeply thankful to them for helping me pursue this opportunity, and it's been doing very, very well so far. Like I said, we got the TPE coming up. We're going to be at. We got PCA next year. We're going to be there as well too. So we've been growing as Oveja Negra brands pretty tremendously over the past year. A lot of new retailers, a lot of new fans, really digging our cigars. And I'm glad to see it, because I believed in it when I joined up, and I'm glad other people are realizing that as well too, and really enjoying it. Like I said.
Yeah, absolutely. Corey's got kind of an interesting question. We see a lot in the, past 10 years or so with different companies, getting together and doing sort of duet projects and collaborations. Obviously you collaborate with, the factory, but have you, obviously you're a young brand, but have you thought about, or have you had any discussions with any other companies about maybe, getting together and singing a duet?
No, not really. Me personally, I'm not really a big fan of collaborations.
Okay.
I don't know what that really means in this industry. You know, like what does it mean to collaborate on something? I mean, I genuinely don't know. You know, I don't see I think most of it's just marketing, you know, purpose to do collaborations, which I have nothing against. But I don't know. I don't think I don't have any plans for it. I don't know what that would look like. If someone gave me, you know, a really good explanation on how to do what a collaboration is, then maybe, you know.
Yeah.
Like Betty Crocker or Mattel, you know.
Capri Sun.
Yeah. Really go outside of the box.
Well, maybe that could be, you know, one of my, you know, industry, you know, different industries and stuff. You know, that could happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that I have noticed is that, and I think there's a lot of great collaborations, and I think there are some that have fallen flat on their face, to be honest. But for the most part, and we've talked about this a lot, is from cigars as a process, as a product, you know, for the most part, you're getting the same process, you're getting the same raw materials, but it's the relationship piece, it's the branding piece, it's what speaks to a particular consumer. And I think there have been some collaborations that have, for whatever reason, whether it's just, you know, brand personalities that blend, that mesh well together and, you know, make a good statement, or whatever it is, that, you know, some of them have made a big splash and been really successful, and I hats off to them, and some have fallen flat on their face just because I don't think that it was almost forced. And, you know, for you, like you said, you've found your, you know, you, even as young as Dissident is, you found, I think you've really found your sound, I guess, for lack of a better term. You've found your sound, and I say stick with it, and, you know, keep putting out hits, because the cigar world needs more innovation, and not like you're going to reinvent the wheel, but because, you know, cigars are what they are, but innovation comes from branding and building relationships and building a new consumer base, like you said. And that's one of the things that we love seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I think it's one of the things, you know, when I saw Dissident, it spoke to me, you know, the names of the SKUs that they had, all that stuff. I think it just was kind of part of me, you know, like
yeah.
I grew up in early 90s, you know, saw the late 80s, early 90s. I remember those times very well, you know, and there's a lot of, you know, there's a generation out there, people of my generation, that I think have been, like, the industry has kind of left behind, you know, and they haven't really adapted to them, and they're looking for something that speaks to them. And I wanted to give them, you know, a cigar for that generation, a brand for that generation.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's, Ben, we're going to shift gears, and we talked about this a little before we went live, but every week we do a useless fact of the week. And this one, so sometimes I come up with ones that, you know, they're not really like deep dive trivia. They're just, you know, things that are a little off the wall. And this one is not deep dive trivia. There's probably, you know, a lot of people who already know this. I didn't know this already, but I found it interesting. So the Guinness Book of World Records. I didn't know that the reason it's called Guinness Book of World Records is because the guy who started it was the managing director of the Guinness Brewery. I had no idea. And so in 1951, and I'm not making this up, Sir Hugh Beaver, that's actually the guy's name, Hugh Beaver.
You got a Hugh Beaver.
He was the managing director of the Guinness Brewery. He went on a shooting party in the North Slob by the River Slaney in Wexford, Ireland. And he missed a shot on a golden plover, and he became involved in an argument over which was the fastest game bird, the golden plover or the red grouse. and they didn't have any reference material to find out which was fastest. So he made one. So that's where the Guinness Book of World Records started. Was the guy got in an argument over shooting a bird and wanted to know which one was fastest. So he was like, well, I'm going to create one. And it just grew and grew and grew from there into, I mean, they have world records now for the dumbest shit. I'm sorry, but seriously, they have world records for like
ridiculous.
The longest toenails in history and the longest, nose hair and God knows what else. So,
yeah.
So which one's the fastest?
It's the plover.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. So it is. Yeah. The plover is faster than the red grouse.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I learned something new today.
Yeah. There you go. That is this week's useless fact. And now our favorite segment of the week, Numero de los Muertos.
All right. This number is one of the highest we've had in recent weeks.
Yeah. Last week was like 4.
Yep, it was.
Which totally threw me off. So what's the number this week?
5,292.
5,292.
And this is a up-to-date number. So this is a number that unfortunately continues to climb a little bit. And the hint I will give you is this number started October 7th, 2001.
So that many people, 5,200 plus,
yep,
have died from this since 2001.
Correct.
Is it?
2001. So it's cell phone explosions.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, no.
No? Is it in the United States?
Mm-mm.
Worldwide? Not worldwide?
No.
Oh. Is it limited to a country or a continent?
Yes.
A country.
Yes. A country.
Okay. A country.
Yeah.
Not the United States. I could start naming countries.
Well,
is
Quentin is close.
All right. Thor says deaths in the Iraq War since 2001, but he's not right.
Mm-mm.
He's close.
Syria.
Right.
No, Syria didn't kick off till later.
Is it Afghanistan?
It is Afghanistan.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So U.S. military deaths?
Not U.S. They're just total, both servicemen and women and civilian casualties.
Oh, man. Since 2001?
Yep.
Man.
Damn.
Yep.
And it's
directly related to the war on terrorism.
And that number's ongoing?
It is. Yep. It's severely dwindled.
I would imagine most of those came between 01 and 05. My guess. That's my guess. I can't say for sure.
I had the website that gave all the statistics of people who have totally died, and then servicemen and women by country who have died. But yep. So again, just another nod to those who gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah. 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 And for those of you, if we do have we're fortunate that we do have some podcast listeners, because when I pull up the stats for the audio podcast, I can see what countries people are in listening. And we actually do have a few listeners in the Middle East. And I can only hope that they're, that those maybe at least a few of them are U.S. military personnel who are deployed over there listening. We thank you so much for, taking any of your few spare minutes to relax to, listen to a cigar podcast. And we greatly appreciate the, the time that you're spending over there and doing what you're doing. And we, pray for a safe return for all of you guys.
Absolutely.
So, Ben, a little bit of a kind of a lightning round that we do with everybody each week. Quick questions, quick answers.
All right.
If you could give one piece of advice to new cigar consumers, what would it be?
Shut up and listen.
That is a great answer. I have nobody's ever
That is fantastic.
That's a great answer. So expand on that a little bit and kind of, break it down a little bit.
There's a lot to learn in this industry. And if you're talking, you're not listening.
Yeah.
So if you can just sit back in a cigar lounge sometimes, or at an event, or wherever, you're enjoying a cigar, a podcast or anything else like that, listen to what's being said, listen to people that are talking and what they're saying. Sometimes you're going to hear bullshit. But vast majority of the time in the industry, you're going to hear bullshit.
In the cigar industry, there's bullshit? What?
Yeah, you're going to hear a lot of bullshit. But there's still a lot of knowledge to be learned from those people who are talking. There's plenty of people in this industry that have years of experience, and you can learn a lot from them if you just listen to what they have to say sometimes.
Yeah, that's
huge.
That's a fantastic answer. I love it.
Yep.
So basically the same question. If you could give one piece of advice to cigar retailers, and specifically brick and mortar cigar retailers, what would it be?
That's a good one. What I would say is really work with, listen to your manufacturers, and understand their limits,
Yeah.
And still continue to build those relationships with them. I think, give them the time to do their job, give them 5 minutes to talk to let them give their spiel, and let them do their magic,
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least give them the just due,
Yeah. No, that's good. So if you could give one piece of advice to the PCA, formerly known as the IPCPR, what would it be?
One piece of advice. Well, that's all right. I'll go with the number one piece of advice. Number one piece of advice that I would give PCA is to re-strategize and try to strategize, make a strategy that empowers retailers and grow the consumer base.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would say. Do what we need to do to grow the consumer base.
Yeah, that's awesome. Excellent. That's excellent. Just like you said before, it's without the next generation, and it doesn't matter what product it is, whether it's cigars or beer or cars, or I don't care, clothes, whatever it is. If you ignore the next generation that's coming up to become a consumer of that product, then you're gonna miss the boat, and the industry as a whole is going to suffer.
Well, yeah, I mean, the whole education piece, if we get to the day, and I hope it doesn't happen where cigars are seriously in trouble, but if we get to that day where they are, and I hear somebody say, I didn't know the FDA was really in the ass of cigars, I will punch a baby, because
I don't know about you guys, but I still sometimes go into shops and hear shop owners, not just part-timers who ring the register a couple hours a week, shop owners who are effing clueless about everything going on in efforts to destroy their business. And it floors me every time that they don't have any idea what's going on, and they don't care.
Yeah.
No, I think, and there's a lot of reasons behind that, but we can't forget in this industry that the number one place to grow the consumer base is in shops, is in the brick and mortar with those retailers. So the PCA definitely, if they want to still stay relevant, needs to find a way to encourage these retailers to grow the consumer base, empower them, and really get on their side more to do that, because they can throw as much money as they can gather into lobbying, and that's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's not important. It definitely is a very important part of the strategy, but it'll all be for naught if you don't have people buying and consuming cigars. The best way to do that, what you were just talking about, is educating people on the FDA, is in those shops. So giving those retailers the tools to educate their consumers, to grow the consumers, to let them know, hey, you enjoy this? Well, it's about to go away if you don't do something. If you don't, vote, like put pressure on those decision makers up in DC, and the bureaucrats, you got to get the numbers.
Yeah.
That's the key. You gotta have, it's kind of has to be kind of a ground roots movement at the same time as getting those lobbyists and getting the ear of the right people, of course. But I think it needs to be a two-pronged strategy rather than just putting all the eggs in the basket of lobbying.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a great point. So let's move on to notable smokables. Ben, we didn't talk about this before we started, but every week Garrett and I talk about cigar, just one or two, maybe three cigars we've smoked over the last week or so that have been interesting to us. They could be new, they could be old, it could be anything. And for you, I know for the most part, brand owners, they spend 99% of their time smoking their own stuff, but every once in a while you get a chance to pick up something from somebody, another company that you love and respect, to try out. So I'm just to get things going on this week's notable smokables. I tried the ironically collaboration, but with the Cigar Dojo put out the Lancero called the Far Eastern Standard. They did that with Caldwell. And I bought a bundle of those and got them last week or early this week, and very good cigar. I was I don't want to say I was surprised because it's going to sound mean, but I was surprised. I kind of was a little concerned it wasn't going to be all that great, but it's very good.
Awesome.
Very good cigar.
I had a straight jacket.
Asylum
Straight jacket, and first time, and it was really good.
Yeah, I haven't had one in a few years. And I'll be honest, I don't remember it. It's probably one I should revisit just because I don't really remember it very well.
Good. It was a great medium cigar.
Cool. Ben, so other than your own test blends and stuff like that, is there anything interesting you've come across recently that you thought was cool?
Okay, well, this is kind of a shameless plug. Black Label Viaticum.
Okay.
That's coming out to retailers, shipping out to retailers this week. That's a very, very good cigar.
Nice.
I'm not just saying that because, it came out of the same factory. I really wholeheartedly mean that. James did a really incredible job with that cigar. It is phenomenal. If you can get your hands on them, I highly recommend anybody getting their hands on them because there wasn't many of them made. So,
okay.
But it's a phenomenal stick.
Awesome. Well, I'll hit up Omar at Ramsey Smoke Shop because he carries a lot of their stuff and hopefully he got some of those coming in. Another one for me was I kind of reached back a little bit in the humidor and found a Sober Mesa from Steve Saka, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. That I think I'm pretty sure I bought these the year they came out. So, had a couple of years age on it and very good cigar. Not my favorite from Steve Saka, but that's why cigar companies make different blends because everybody's going to have different ones, but that one's definitely a good cigar.
Awesome. And my last one is a Zeno Platinum.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah,
that's all I'm going to say.
It's Zeno, so good stuff. Was it the Tubo, the little Perfecto?
That's right.
Yeah, really good morning coffee. Wake up your taste buds kind of cigar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just a beautiful, creamy, yummy draw.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good cigar.
Ben, anything else on your mind, smoke wise, that was cool and awesome this week?
Not this week. I think like last week I've always had a lot of respect for Nick, and I love the Tabernacle that was very well done cigar. That's Nick's done some really awesome stuff. Foundation, and I think that one's kind of in his lineup. I think that's kind of a go-to. I'd put it as a go-to for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one thing that we gotta talk about here. Now, this is serious business, and it may be a spoiler for some, but I want to get your opinion on the Hopper situation. What do you think happened to Hopper?
I think he's dead.
You think?
I think Hopper's dead.
So he's not coming back. That little teaser at the end with the American.
No, that wasn't him. That was Papa.
Oh, you think that was Papa?
Yeah, I think that's Papa.
Interesting.
What the hell are we talking about? I don't even know what we're talking about.
Stranger Things, man.
Oh yeah, it's not. I
Matt didn't do Stranger Things.
I'm old.
I love Stranger Things. I love
Right?
that show. It's one of the greatest shows out there.
I do want to watch it because I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and I was in high school in the 80s, so I probably should watch it because it would probably blow my mind with all the pop culture.
It
really,
Well, it was really interesting. Was I was watching season 1, and remember when they made the fort for 11 in the basement and the sheets that they had? I had those sheets. As a kid, I had those sheets with the squares and the yellow and the blue. So,
nice. I'll have to watch that because I've been watching, and I mean I watch a lot of stuff, but I mean we're all Star Wars fans here, and The Mandalorian is ridiculous.
Dude, it's freaking! Isn't it great?
It is so fantastic. It's like old school Star Wars is back again. Star Wars has thrown off the chains of the nonsense, and it's back to its old self again. And
just think Jawas have been assholes for over 1,000 years.
And we finally got to see some of them disintegrated.
Yes.
What I love about it is it's very simple, right? There's not too many complexities in the story, but in the overall scheme of things, so much can come of this, right? Like there's so many other things that they can do with the basis that they're laying down for future storylines or whatever the case may be. But it's simple. And it's like a gritty Western, it's like a spaghetti Western,
Exactly. It does have that feel.
Yeah.
It's got that, it's got that.
It's kind of Longmire meets Lucas.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So for those of you watching and listening, if you're not on the Disney Plus bandwagon, drink the Kool-Aid, man, because it's legit. It's.
Well, I got a question for you guys. I mean, it's next month. Next month's the next Star Wars comes out on Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who do you think she is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. All right. So my theory is everything that Kylo told her is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And she is a Skywalker.
You think she's a Skywalker?
You think Jen Erso is not Jen, Rey.
No, Rey.
Rey is a
Skywalker. Yeah.
I don't. I think she's a Palpatine.
Ooh.
Oh.
See, at first I was thinking she was a Kenobi, but then when I saw the trailer and I heard, the Emperor's laugh and everything like that, I'm like, nah, she's a Palpatine.
So you think she's going dark?
No, I don't think she's going to go dark. I think she's going to be the balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Kylo Ren's going to die. Just like Darth Vader had his, he redeemed himself and he died.
Yep.
I think that's going to happen with Kylo.
Yeah.
He's going to redeem himself but die. And I think she's going to be the last one kind of standing.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be that last Jedi. Do you think the Jedi will ever come in?
No, I don't think there's a, the
way of the Jedi is gone.
No, yeah. I think the old way of the Jedi is gone. I think the Force isn't going anywhere.
Right, because the Force,
Yeah, but
I think the order of the Jedi is done. I think it's going to be kind of a new kind of thing of Force wielders.
Yeah,
a new kind of next generation type stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think she's a Palpatine. For sure.
Okay,
sure.
I like
I like that theory. I'm nervous. I'll be honest. I'm nervous that it's just going to suck, but I have to be more positive.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt, the movie's going to suck. I mean, it's going to be horrible. The last one
at least it's JJ. At least it's JJ.
That's true.
Because Ryan Johnson shit the bed. I'm sorry, but he shit the bed with that movie.
He really did.
It was such a horrible movie.
Yeah. But
disappointing Star Wars fans since Jar Jar.
Yeah.
JJ has respect for the core.
He really does.
Material. He has respect for the core material.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it's going to be as. It's definitely not going to be anything close to a Mandalorian or anything like that. But I think it's not going to hit. It's not going to make the diehard Star Wars fans happy.
Yeah. Well, and then a few years from now we'll have the Kenobi movie to look forward to, and hopefully they can actually turn that into something
Yeah, I think.
respectable.
Are they going to do a movie or are they going to do a miniseries? I heard they were doing a miniseries.
I think it's still up in the air, to be honest. But I know that it's officially in production. As far as pre-production, they've started writing, they've started casting. But whether or not it's going to turn into a feature film or like a mini series in like 3 or 4 parts, I have no idea. But,
either way, I think it's going to be great because Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah,
dude, that is going to be great.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
So, Ben, as we close out here, give everybody just kind of a final little hit on where they can find out more information about Dissident Cigars, where they can find where to buy them, and information about you and the blends, and maybe even any events you might have coming up soon. Yeah,
so you can, of course, Facebook, Dissident has a Facebook page. You can go there. You can follow me personally on Facebook, Ben Holt. And then on Instagram, there's Smoke Dissident. You can follow that page. You can follow me, BLKSHP_Ben on Instagram as well. Or you can go to ovejanegracigars.com. You'll find everything Oveja Negra there. You'll find Dissident there. You'll find all of our retailers there. And we got some Dissident swag coming. So that'll be on the website soon. So we got some T-shirts and some hats that'll be on there just in time for the holidays. So
songs, scared you said.
Maybe I might. I don't know.
Do some thongs. I'll model, dude. I'll be your model.
Oh no, not on this show. You won't.
But yeah, we got got 3 blends right now: Soapbox, Block, and Home. Home is very limited. It's out there. Not many of them are left. So if you can find it, get your hands on them. It'll be coming back again next year. But if you like a fuller bodied cigar, Block is where it's at. If you like a medium bodied cigar that you can smoke any time of the day, Soapbox is where it's at. Both of those come in 3 sizes, and Home comes in 1. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, I always invite people. You can always ask me on social media. When I get a chance to, I'll be glad to answer your questions for you. And if you have any other questions about where to find it, we got awesome reps out there. We got Koi Mata down in the Southeast. We got Levi Lucas in the Mid-Atlantic states. We got Nick Goss, a brokerage up in New England. We just brought on Calvin Woods up in your area, upper Midwest. We got Joel Rezer down in the lower Midwest. And we got Trendsetters out west covering California, Arizona, and that whole mass of the United States. So if you're a retailer and you're interested, hit one of those up, and they'll be glad to take care of you.
Absolutely. And if you guys, for us local, all of our local fans and viewers, if you're here in the Twin Cities area, you have to go see Omar at Ramsey Smoke Shop, because they have a very good selection of Oveja Negra brands, and they are in the works, according to Omar, to get Dissident stuff on the shelves soon as well. So keep a lookout for those if you're in this area. Thanks again to everybody for watching and listening. Thanks again, Ben, so much for spending some time with us this evening.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Absolutely. As always, guys, if you have any questions for us, you can email us directly from howaboutthatcigar.com. You'll find all the latest reviews. You'll find cigar destinations. We have a nice new one up there from Andrew that was posted recently. So go and read that. It's a really cool shop out in Boston. And you can hit us up on social media on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter at HBT Cigar, and on Facebook.com/HBT Cigar. And until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Take care, guys. Thank you,
guys.
Thank you, guys.